How we doing, YouTube? Aaron with Derelict Depot. Today we're going to do something a little different than normal because, that's just how I roll. We received a hose reel. Fantastic and wonderful tool. Big issue with it was, I don't know how well you can see this, and I'll have a close-up of it later. This is the catch device. So normally when the hose reel goes out, you'll hear click, 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 and it'll stay put until you decide to unclick it and let it go back. Right now, the big issue with this is all it wants to do is retract. Hose reels are fantastic. They make working in the shop a whole lot easier, a lot cleaner, a lot easier to, well, just in general, clean up. You don't have to deal with a rat's nest of air hoses on the wall, which can sometimes be a little cumbersome. So we're going to go through, we're going to try to fix this, if not rebuild it. Biggest concern with this part is that it looks like it's sintered metal. What the heck is that, you might ask? It's essentially steel that has been in a powder form. They put it into a hydraulic press, they press the living daylights out of it, and then they put it in a forge or some other type of really hot oven, and it ends up fusing a lot of the material together. It's a really easy way to make cheap parts that are kind of complicated with difficult geometries. Problem is I don't know how well they weld, so we're going to go through a whole process of trying to weld this up, adding filler material, and then grinding it to shape. If that doesn't work, I've already kind of come up with a backup plan in my head, so we're going to do the backup plan as I'm trying to repair this part. Let's see how it goes, right? All right, so how are we going to fix this, and how are we going to kind of have a backup plan to go with? What I'm going to do is I'm going to do kind of two simple steps. I have a piece of steel that's about the same thickness, and I have a business card. This is really high-tech stuff right now. So on a piece of steel, I'm going to take a Sharpie. I'm going to color in the material. Okay. Super difficult so far. Well, I'm going to make it a little bit wider. A little bit longer. Sharpie's a fantastic thing. A machinist would normally use this stuff called Dykem, D-Y-K-E-M. Don't get it triggered by that, please, folks. What I'm doing essentially is I'm coloring the material. Why am I coloring the material? I'm going to come in with a scratch-all. Be best if it was carbide. This is just high-speed steel. It's still a stronger material than the base material. And press down. And I'm going to go through and I'm just going to, without moving it, and I'm going to scratch around the part. It's not perfect because I'm doing it pretty quick. Roll that lights up. I'll have to do a close-up. I'm also going to scratch into the card. Take my part, place it down. Yay. Let me get a close-up of this so I can kind of show you what's going on. So, as you can see, both of those pieces have been outlined on the material. Essentially, I've transferred all dimensions that I need, so there is no measuring necessary onto both the steel and the card. Why do both? Well, in case I end up messing up this part that I need to do, because we can see kind of the area I need to fill. If this gets messed up, I have this traced out and ready to go. And if this gets messed up, then I have this ready to go. So I've done a backup plan for a backup plan. And unfortunately, when it's a one-off part, that's something that you really need to do to just make sure you can get it done. So I've gone ahead, I've already hooked up the welder. That clamp is going to hold my material in place for me. It's 3/8 material. I'm using a 95 amp welder, not very hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going through, I'm preheating the material, honestly, in just hopes that this will, work out. I'm giving this thing best chance that I can do this way one time, be done with it, and not have to go through and cut the 3/8 material. I'm just heating it up a little bit. I'm not going super hot. Something like cast iron, things of that nature, yeah, you want to make sure you have that up to about 500 degrees at least. Then you can weld it, and then you want to put a blanket over it afterward that makes sure it's not going to crack on you. I may do something similar with this, but honestly, probably not. And as always, I am not a trained professional. Do not be doing this at home unless, you feel like doing it. You're an adult. You can do what you want, darn it.
Whatever, I do what I want.
But I'm not responsible if you hurt yourself. That's all I'm saying. Let's see if she'll chooch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this in a series of passes, slowly build up the material, and I hope this thing doesn't warp too bad. We'll see. I'm burning myself. Other than that, it's great. Actually pretty good. But I got to slow down a little bit and let her cool between shots here. No, it's the dingleberries that keep getting me. So what I'm going to do every once in a while, I'll pull this back, take a look at it. As you can see, this is smoking hot. And what I'm trying to make sure of, and this is part of the other reason for making your template, I can take this off, not touch with my fingers and burn myself. Okay, I'm going to burn myself. And I can place it on there, line it up. As long as I'm within my pattern that I scribed out, my part's going to be fine. Okay. Also be known as a PTO driven mower. Yep. I'm sorry now, Jackie. Ken made me do it. Ken made me talk extra. That'll do. Okay, so I'm gonna grab, compare it to my outline. It looks good that way. I can grab it this way. It definitely looks like 3/8 of material right here across that. About the same thickness as that. So now all I have to do essentially is kind of let this cool down a little bit and then grind it to shape. It looks like it's holding. If it doesn't, well, I'll find out as soon as I start grinding this out.